Opening night of the NBA season is close. It's Tuesday, October 18th. Do you think the Golden State Warriors can repeat? To celebrate the start of the season, we are offering you a 7-day NBA package for only $49. Yes, that's only $7 a day, and it will be valid through Sunday, October 23rd at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo. There is no limit to the number of handicappers that you can get. Just head to your favorite capper's homepage.
Hey guys, welcome in on a very, happy Monday here, October the 17th, and you're not going to believe it, but yes, the NBA season 2022-23, it's upon us, guys. The NBA tip-off show is back here on WagerTalk TV, and we're excited for what is going to be, no doubt, another extremely profitable NBA season here at WagerTalk, and today, well, we got three of the single most profitable guys from just a year ago joining us here to talk a little bit about this upcoming season and some of the plays and props and all sorts of stuff that they like heading into this season. Andy Lang, speaking of prop gods, here he is. He is the Zeus of the NBA prop betting world. We've got the one and only Tony Mejia and his brother from another mother, Mr. Tony Finn, in the house. Again, three of the absolute most profitable from a year ago, guys, in the association. Andy Lang, welcome in, my man. Hard to believe that it's another NBA season here, but it is upon us, my friend. And I thought that was a great deal, too. 7 days, $49. You get to try, and it's not exclusive to just one. You can pick as many of these guys as you like. And your NBA focus last year, where you killed it, certainly on the show here, was props. So for those that might not know, Andy, tell us a little bit about how you approach the NBA.
Yeah, we don't do sides and totals, just do props. We were up, believe it was 82 units in the regular season on player props. So we did really, really well. That's my focus in all sports, but particularly in the NBA. And I traditionally am very good at the beginning of the seasons on sports with player props. I believe that the books are kind of just guessing at a lot of these lines. They're very vanilla and stagnant, and I think it takes the books a few weeks to adjust and really, get those numbers in the pocket where they want. And I think there's a lot of advantages at the beginning of the season. So looking forward to getting off to a hot start. It's never too late to start the research, but the research started a month ago. So I'm very excited to come out of the gate hot here, NBA season.
Amen to that. It's never too soon to be diving into the NBA. Tony Mejia knows all about that, my friend. I understand you haven't slept in about 6 months, so congrats. You won't be sleeping for another 6 months. You're going to be like a damn vampire here, Mejia. What is going on, my friend? For those that don't know, tell us a little bit about your approach to the NBA season.
Well, I do sides, totals, and props, and I aim to be better on totals and props this year because they weighed me down last season. I mean, I finished number one in spread profits, nearly 150 unit profit, 59% total. The record was 199 and 138, and I hit 72% out of 18 5% plays. So those were good, and then the other stuff weighed me down. But rather than just scrap it, I think I'll just do better this year. How's that? And we have a special, I can't talk, a special futures package that's already up, and last year's was terrific. I had the Heat to win the Southeast Division as my 4% play. I've got a 4% play on a division winner this time around that I'll give out on the show for free, but again, this package is going to be filled with goodies. Last year I had the Grizzlies as my surprise team, had them to win the Southwest Division. That paid out plus 440. We had Tyler Hero as the sixth man of the year. That paid out plus 1,200. So that will be up. The package is up later. It'll be populated with more award winners and division winners later today. And it will also include, for $9 Monday, Tuesday's plays on the two games that will kick off the NBA season, the doubleheader with the Sixers visiting the Celtics, and ring night in San Francisco with the Warriors welcoming the Lakers. So really excited for the NBA season to get here. The West is loaded, the East is improved, and we're going to have a heck of a year.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a whole lot of fun, and it was certainly a whole lot of fun and extremely profitable for Tony Finn's clients last year. You pretty much, Finn, wire to wire, led the profits here at WagerTalk.com, man. You were absolutely on fire. You two never sleep. The NBA content continues to roll with you here, writing for a number of different publications. So last year, I mean, for folks that don't know, Tony, tell everybody exactly how you approach the NBA season and what, if anything, are you locked and loaded with this year?
Well, as soon as the preseason's over, then we start looking at the regular season. No, I'm kidding. I do play a little preseason. Last year I played quite a bit more than I did this season. But I've added props as I've gotten, as our generation of new gamers are coming in. I don't have to tell you guys that props they're the future. A lot of guys say, I don't want to deal with props or that. Just give me straight plays, totals, sides. I don't want to. Well, if you want to do shows like this and you want to compete and be informative and get a few drive-bys on Twitter, good and bad, obviously, then you need to do props. So props will be a big part. I wasn't near as successful as the goat of props, obviously Andy Lang. And I also, to note, thank you for mentioning the wire to wire. It wasn't a wire to wire. I want to know the goat of Wager Talk, Ralph Michaels, actually, who doesn't release a ton of NBA, not like the three of us do, or four of us do. And he ended up being the season-winning prophet. So Ralph Michaels, congratulations on that. He overtook me during the postseason. But it was a good season. Looking forward to this season. I have 3 today. I'm putting in the futures. I have 3 that I've made personally. I'm putting them in, and I will do again, much like Tony Mejia mentioned. There's a lot of other goodies inside those packages I mentioned. I give some leans, and maybe you'll read something that'll spark something that makes you some of your own self-handicapping, those who are watching and listening, to dive into, right? So let's get on to it.
Knowledge is power, guys. That's what we say each and every year. A lot to dive into here coming up. And again, a couple of regular season games tomorrow. But I do want to remind you, take advantage of that opportunity right now for 7 days, $49. Any one of these guys, all of these guys, any one of the handicappers at WagerTalk.com. No coupon code needed. You get it for 7 days. Hell of a way to start off. These 3 guys have been diving into all the analytics, all the numbers. They have never left the NBA, which is why you may want to hop on and build up that bankroll for the NBA season for just $49 right now over at WagerTalk.com. All right, let's take a look here at some of these numbers here for the NBA Finals champion. Obviously, it's never too soon to be able to take advantage of a number that may seem a little crazy. So I'm going to go to you, Tony Mejia, first here on this list, and we're talking about champions here. Is there any thing, and these sometimes are a little hard to figure out, but is there any value on this board that you originally looked at when these numbers came out?
Well, I mean, look, the NBA champion can go any direction because you have to factor in injuries. So my rule on those futures where you're trying to identify an actual winner is not to bet the favorite at all. Let's just take a shot with somebody, even though you get great odds with the Milwaukee Bucks at plus 550, and even though I think that, at least at FanDuel, it's 550, and even though I think that Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to be your NBA MVP this season, I think you still should take a shot at not one of the teams that aren't the favorites. And the ones that stand out to me are the Clippers at plus 700. They're the deepest team in the league by far, which means that the regular season grind likely won't affect them as much. I mean, the fact that you can bring Robert Covington in off the bench and Terrence Mann, and you can really go 10, 11 deep, And now you added John Wall to the mix, and obviously you got Kawhi Leonard back with Paul George to get that tag team back together. It gets Reggie Jackson back in line as a number 3, number 4 option instead of your number 1, number 2. That's a team that's really exciting. And they play in a loaded division, so with the Warriors and the Lakers and the Suns jockeying for position throughout the regular season, I don't think it's important at all to them to win the Pacific, but it's important to them. And obviously Steve Ballmer has been looking forward to fielding this championship contender for a few years now. Kawhi Leonard hopefully makes it through the season, but they're my pick. And in the East, I mean, you're getting plus 900 odds with 2 of the best players on the planet, at least talent-wise, in Durant and Kyrie Irving. And if Ben Simmons now finally going to suit up this year, he's shown some flashes of brilliance during the preseason. If you're willing to stomach poor free throw shooting down the stretch in games, plus 900 is a good value, considering that the Nets entering last season's playoffs were the odds-on favorite prior to Simmons bowing out and then everybody getting injured again.
So I want to. It's interesting you brought up the Clippers, Andy Lang, because the Clippers have, I don't know, somebody you might have heard of, didn't play an awful lot last year. His name's Kawhi Leonard. New Orleans has a dude that hasn't played in a little while either, back on the court here this year, Mr. Zion Williamson. A lot of people like New Orleans and think maybe a sleeper of sorts here. What do you think we're going to get from Mr. Zion heading into this season?
Well, as a fan of the NBA, I hope he stays healthy. As a bettor, I'm skeptical. And I do like this team. Unfortunately, their talent just kind of falls off a cliff a little bit. But I like Zion Williamson for his season to go under 27.7 points. This is a player prop that you can take. It's average point per game, and I think this play checks a lot of boxes. First off, they got a really good starting 5. You got McCollum, you got Ingram, you got Valanciunas. Those guys are going to get their numbers. And also, if you're New Orleans, there's no reason whatsoever to give Zion big minutes at the beginning of the season. So when you're looking at this prop, it's points per game. I would not be surprised if they ease him into the mix. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play in quite a few back-to-backs. And if you're the Pelicans and you see the West and you say, I think we got a good shot at possibly making the playoffs, definitely I think they're going to be in the play-in tournament. Zion's the first guy you're going to sit if you have a blowout situation, whether they're ahead or they're down. I think his minutes are going to be monitored quite a bit, and for good reason. You've got to protect that body. You've got to protect that frame of his. 27.7 is a lot. He can do it. I think the lack of minutes, particularly at the beginning of the season, and I think all the other starters getting their games, you're going to have some big Brandon Ingram games. McCollum's going to have a few games where he gets hot from 3, and those guys do a lot of damage. And Valanciunas, of course, can go off, once every couple weeks. So point total seems a little high. This is a very public player. So as always, the public always likes the overs, I'm going to take Zion under 27.7 points per game, though.
Love that approach. 44.5, 45, somewhere in that ballpark. Win total for the New Orleans Pelicans this year. And Tony Finn, got to give credit where credit is due. It's just a shame Ski's not here, but we're going to let you do it anyway. You stood right there, right where you are a year ago before the season started, and you shredded the Lakers. I mean, shredded them and said, oh, hell no. No, the Lakers ain't no. So are the Lakers, or give me the team that you think might be the most improved this year, and are you even looking at the Lakers to win more games than their win total?
No, in fact, I'm still pulling a few pieces of shrapnel, a few BBs from my Twitter drive-bys after making that statement. And so, when you make those statements, you just kind of you need a little thick skin. I will say the same thing as I did last year about the Lakers. Nothing has changed for me on the Lakers. 2 great players, right? Davis, LeBron, those guys are great. Unfortunately, and you saw it last year, if they're not on the court together, independently, they just don't. They cannot carry what else is with. Here's the caveat, guys. Okay. If they can find a trading partner for Westbrook, let's say, and they get a plus player meaning he's in the plus column a little bit even even on plus minus night or whatever your metrics that you use for a plus player. If they can get a plus player for Westbrook, maybe one bench and one plus player that could add more than 20 minutes a night, then maybe the Lakers are a play-in team or maybe one of the bottom seeds. But as mentioned here, the West is pretty loaded. As far as the most improved team, here's the deal. Can I say the most improved team is going to be the caveat that Tony Mejia just mentioned, and that is, man, there are too many teams, guys, that depend on one player. Denver, if they're healthy, look at across you've read them, the portals. They have Denver's, really, that's the team collectively that may have the highest or the most likely odds to win a championship. And we all know that without the big man in the middle, that the bottom falls out of this team, right? Most improved. I'll say this. How about is it possible? And the coaching comes in this. I really like the Atlanta Hawks. I think the Hawks are a team that right now you get them about 44, 45, 46 wins. I think this is a team that fits in my container. And guys, my container of even considering betting an NBA future, a champions team, I have to have them winning about 48 games in their team totals, or the seeds just doesn't fit them being able to navigate the waters of an NBA playoffs, which are brutal after the regular season minutes. So that's how I attack this. Who I like a little bit, I like the Atlanta. I'm not a big Clippers guy like Tony Mejia is. I'm not, only because, wow, can you push money across the counter for 6 months that Kawhi Leonard's going to stay healthy?
Right.
That's the question.
Good question too, Tony. It's one that we're going to be asking a lot this year, I am sure, especially when he gets his first. What is it? It's not rest. What do they call load management? That's the word I'm looking for. Load management is coming. All right, Mejia, I'm not letting you get away with this either. We all know behind the scenes, if you're new to the show, guys, behind the scenes, the man running all of this, our producer, Robert, is a big fan of the Houston Rockets. And most of these guys usually get their microphones cut out. They drop somehow. It's amazing every time we pick against them. So, Mejia, you are in the hot seat. The Houston Rockets, I'm seeing 23.5, 24.5, somewhere around that win total. Listen, we saw some signs of what this team could be. Are you buying an over situation win total-wise with the Houston Rockets?
I think they're their second best team in Texas. How's that?
Woo!
The Spurs are all in, baby. All in on a Victor Wembanyama. Let's just go ahead and cancel the season if we can. That's why they felt DeJounte Murray didn't feel like they were going to re-sign him. And so they're all in on the tank Commanders this season. So I think Houston will be better than them. I'm excited to see Jamari Smith get plugged in. They dealt Christian Wood specifically to make sure he gets those minutes. Alpi Şengün is a guy that you can play through. I'm a big fan of his at center. I think the backcourt will be better. Kevin Porter Jr. looked really good. And, at this point, I think there's going to be improvement across the board for the Rockets. 25 wins in the Western Conference, still a lot of wins when you're towards the bottom. So it's put a gun to my head, I would say, yeah, maybe they can get there, but it's not a play for me. I will upset the rest of Texas in saying that I think the Dallas Mavericks are in for a bit of a decline. And I've actually Andy's going to give you a play-in play as well. So this is not a make the playoffs prop, because the teams that make the playoffs are the top 6. So the teams that make the play-in are 7 through 10. And at this point, because everybody assumes that the Mavericks are going to be top 6 and potentially the South West Division champ, you can get plus 140 at DraftKings, I think, and FanDuel on them being out of the top 6, but in the top 10 to make the play-in tournament. Luka Doncic is in great shape because he played with Slovenia over the summer at the European basket competition, and he was tremendous, almost triple-double every night, doing what he's supposed to do as one of the best players in the world. And he'll check into this season in shape, but I wonder about him January, right before All-Star break, February, where he clearly needs a breather. And the Mavericks were wise to give him one because they need him tip-top for the postseason. Luka Doncic played 65 games last season, 66 the year before that, 61 the year before that. If he plays in that neighborhood of 65 games, I think that the Grizzlies, even though they'll be out Brandon Clark, not Brandon Clark, Jaren Jackson Jr. for the first few months of the season will finish with a better record. And I think the Pelicans are a really good choice to win the Southwest Division at plus 440, just because if Zion Williamson stays healthy, winning will mean a lot more to them than it would to both Dallas and Memphis, who have kind of been there before doing it the last few seasons. Memphis last year and Dallas a couple of seasons in a row. So I think the Pelicans will be better and the Mavericks will regress. If they finish outside the top 10, outside of the top 6, they will be in the play and they'll be a dangerous team. But again, I think that I forecast a little bit of regression for them just because they don't have a Jalen Brunson to take over if Doncic sits. It's basically Spencer Dinwiddie's show, and I don't think Christian Wood is very happy with the news that he's coming off the bench for the foreseeable future. He probably thought he was going to be that number 2 guy immediately in Dallas. Jason Kidd had other ideas.
Ooh, yeah, he ain't going to be all that. He wasn't happy in Houston, but he ain't going to be happy coming off the bench here. Andy, talk to me about the play there. He likes Dallas, maybe in that 7, 8, or 9 spot. What is the team you're looking at to play in the play-in?
I think the Atlanta Hawks at plus money to be in the play-in tournament is just a perfect play. The East, it falls off a cliff really, really fast once you get in the play-in tournament. So, the Magic, the Pistons, Pacers, Wizards, Knicks, and the Hornets. Boy, the Hornets may have a nightmare season on their hands. It's already started with injuries and then the unfortunate news about Bridges. But so in order for the Hawks to make it into that top 6, they're going to have to pass a couple teams. They're going to have to pass the Nets, the Bulls, the Raptors, 76ers, Bucks, Celtics, Heat. They got to get past a couple of those, and not to mention they've got an improved Cleveland Cavaliers team in that conference. And I think they're going to end up about where they were last year. They finished 43, 39, the 8th seed in the play-in tournament. And at plus 130, I don't see who they pass. Chicago would be my nominee for a team that might fall back a little bit, especially with they've got some injury concerns on the perimeter of their own. I still like them, and I'm just not really sure what Clint Capella is going to give you. 2 seasons ago he was fantastic. Then last season he regressed really, really bad at the beginning of the year. It got him off to a really tough start. I think that 7-8 seed is about perfect for them, and getting in at plus 130 is just fantastic. I really think they're gonna. It's a pretty easy bet. It's probably one of my favorite futures to take.
Oh, liking that. All right, so we got Atlanta, we got Dallas. Tony, is there a team you think might be crawling into the playoffs yourself here this year? May not be the cream of the crop, but certainly is a team we have to look at here if we're going to be talking the play-in series.
Well, is it ridiculous to say that maybe the Knicks might crawl into that? I mean, remember last year the Knicks were the talk, weren't they? Look what they've done. Look what they got. Look what they're going to do. How about this? Could they crawl in? And I really don't have an answer to that, Joe, but I'll say this. Quigley, Grimes, Hartenstein, that's a trio that could climb into the play-in tournament, is it not? Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I want to say Brooklyn might crawl. Hey, how about this? Do you guys find the Brooklyn total 45 wins a little strange? Isn't this a team that's either going to win a lot more than 45 or they're going to implode completely and win 25? Is that fair?
More than fair. Yeah, that's more than. You want to talk about the health? Health of a dude or two is going to really determine whether or not that has any value. I mean, do the Nets have any value at all here, Mejia? Any value on the betting landscape?
I mean, the number I see at FanDuel is 51.5.
Oh!
So that's the number I see. So it's high. I would definitely go with the under on that. Even though, I mean, these guys are professing to be invested and to play as often as possible. Kyrie Irving obviously had to sit so much last year because he didn't want to get vaccinated, and now that won't be the case at all. So he won't have restrictions except for maybe Toronto games, and we'll have to check into that. But the bottom line is he wanted the extension. They didn't give it to him, so he's out now to prove. I really do love this game, and be it in Brooklyn or somewhere else, I want to get paid, considering I'm still among the best guards in the world, and I'm now in the proving it stage. and obviously Kevin Durant has had an injury history. I don't think he'll bust it. Again, this is not something I would invest in at all, because talent-wise, I think over 51.5 wins with the Nets at full strength is a bargain, but you can't expect these guys to play every day. And then, not to mention, the Pacific definitely has a case, because who's the weak link there? The Lakers or the Kings? It's one of them. It's not the Suns or the Clippers or the obviously the defending champion Warriors. But the Atlantic is pretty damn good too. I mean, with Jalen Brunson in New York now, the Knicks are going to be better. The Raptors should be better. And obviously you got the big three there with the Celtics, Sixers, and Nets. So tough division too, and you play those guys more than you play the other teams. So from that standpoint, I would say under on the Nets, but again, not a play for me.
Yeah, no, that's going to be. We all know what that's going to come down to. It should be interesting watching it melt down. And about a month into the season, everyone's screaming, "Trade me! I want out! Give me a trade!" Oh, that's right. We've already heard that. Let me ask you something here, Andy Lang, the champs, the Golden State Warriors, and I know props is certainly where you focus. Is there a prop now that we've heard about some contracts, some fists being thrown? Is there anybody you would key in on for the season here for the Golden State Warriors?
Yeah. First off, can you imagine being like a psychiatrist for the Nets? Can you imagine trying to deal with Ben Simmons and Kyrie Irving, and then the stress would start with the entire coaching staff in the office there.
Terrible.
Durant's going to be doing a lot of venting on the couch.
Oh, dude, his burner accounts are going to get lit up.
He won't pass it. He won't shoot it. He can't make a free throw. He shoots too much. It's just the full Durant buffet of complaints. Yeah, Golden State. I really like Draymond under 7.1 rebounds per game. He barely got over this total. And I'm looking at this depth chart, and if you're Golden State, you have just got to save Draymond for the playoffs. You cannot put too much wear and tear on him in the regular season. And you look at their depth chart now, you've got Clay that's healthy, you've got Wiggins, and you got Looney who they're going to be grabbing rebounds. Kuminga, I think, is going to get more involved. You've got Wiseman. I think Moody is going to get some more playing time, and Draymond is going to be, I don't want to say the odd man out, but he's the guy that you give some rest to. He's the guy that doesn't play a ton of minutes, especially in the blowout games, and I just think there's a lot of rebounding guys on this team. Draymond was so close to this number last year, and sometimes he was one of the only guys that could rebound that was out there. I think there's a lot of rebounders on this team. This is a really, really sneaky one. I think he sees a downtick in minutes, and I don't see why he's going to be going all out in the regular season. For the Warriors, it's championship or bust. If they finish runner-up, that's a disappointment for them. So I don't see Draymond having a big regular season, and his contribution to this team this year is not going to be in the stats department most nights. It's going to be on defense, being a leader, setting screens, disrupting the other team. So anytime I can take Draymond under this year, I'm going to look forward to doing that.
Boom. All right. I love it. And Finn, let me ask you, because I know I know you're all in on the Phillies winning, and I know you're also all in on the Eagles winning. So might there be any chance you're looking at the Sixers this year to get it done, or is there somebody else in the East that you think is the clear favorite here? It's funny you bring that up, because I did make a play on the Phillies, on the Sixers. At plus 1,700, I felt like that the East is wide open. I really like Boston, but I take coaching into consideration. And the truth is, Boston's a little bit of a mystery until we see what happens without Udoka. I mean, it really is, for me, the genius that he was. Last year I thought, for what he did with Williams III, who is a big key guy for this Boston, maybe more important than, at least as far as winning a championship, maybe as important as the big two in the backcourt there for Boston. So that said, Phillies, I don't know the 76ers. How far can I really buy into them other than plus 1,700? Not a whole lot, because
You know, it's just the way I'm never that confident of a team who also is solely dependent on a guy who hasn't been healthy for a full season, right? I mean, right? Is it? I mean, without the big man in the middle, can the Sixers win a championship? Absolutely not. So there I am with Philly, and I'm not. I can. It's easier for me to go say to you, Joe, who I don't like to make the playoffs. It's so much easier for me. In fact, I'd love to have a conversation on which are the top 5 teams that are going to be tanking for Victor W. at the end of the season, right? How important is it that if you got win totals on some of these lower teams, are they going to tank? I mean, we've seen it happen year after year after year. These kids, what Victor W. is doing or did in France, right? Where's the tanking coming? Who's the ones who are going to be tanked? Who wants this kid? I don't know.
I think Andy knows. He won't say it because he lives there and people are watching. But Andy and I both know the Pacers are in for the tank, man. The tank is coming, and it kills Andy to have to say that, but it's the truth. Interesting enough.
We'll take Westbrook. You can have Hield. You can have Turner. Let's get this deal done now. I don't want to end up with like 27 wins with the 4th overall pick. Let's get the deal done. Let's go full blown. Let's play as many young guys as we possibly can. Let's bring old Victor home.
You know he wants. If he's looking for Westbrook, he is all in for the tank. You guys know that right now with Indiana. Talk to me here. You heard Tony Finn talk a little bit. Can we trust Embiid? Without him, there's really no championship. If there is him, is he the MVP? Who have you looked at in this market, if anybody?
Well, I think Antetokounmpo is going to be the MVP, but Embiid actually played the most games that he has played in his entire career last year. 68 he got in, and played a career-high 33.8 minutes a game, played through some knee issues. So he's clearly invested, and I actually like the 76ers at plus 260 to win the Atlantic, just because we talked about with no Ime Udoka that there should be some growing pains under Joe Mazzulla, and not to mention Robert Williams is going to be out a handful of months. He'll probably be back around Christmas. That's the most generous timetable of getting him back, and he was the key to last year's resurgence after a really slow start. The way he was able to kind of roam around the perimeter and wreak havoc and then protect the rim because of his athleticism. And then you've got the Nets, who you don't know what to expect. So the Sixers at plus 260 with James Harden, who is in great shape, that you can tell. Hopefully he's, they talked around in circles about him being healthy last year, and he obviously wasn't. His first step wasn't good. He was more of a facilitator. Tyrese Maxey's ready to make a jump. They added a PJ Tucker to that supporting cast. So I think at plus 260, the 76ers to win the Atlantic is a really nice bet. That being said, Antetokounmpo is the MVP to me. I think he's the most dominant player in this league right now. And even though the NBA MVP voting ends up being, narrative driven. Everybody understands that. I used to be a voter for it. I get it. You want the best story, but I don't think there is a great one outside of if LeBron James is tremendous and the Lakers at his age and the Lakers are a factor in the Pacific, or Anthony Davis is a force at both ends and is able to play 75 plus games. Then I think that power of Laker Nation and them being relevant again would be a driving force. Anybody else? I don't see it. Unless Kyrie Irving is the best player on the planet after coming back and playing 82 games. Those are the stories that might sell. Other than that, it's going to be talent, and I think there's nobody more talented than Giannis.
Yeah, no, it's Giannis is it's his for the taking. I guess we know he's going to. He looked a little pissed off last year, Andy, when it didn't work out his way. Let's see if he can get that back and ready to go. And all right, guys, before we get out of here, and don't forget, 7 days. $49. You can get Tony Mejia, you can get Tony Finn, you can get Andy Lang. Just $49. Get 7 days worth of NBA plays for them right now at their pages at WagerTalk.com. There is no promo code needed. Just visit their page, hop on board. The NBA is in full effect beginning tomorrow. It's kind of crazy to believe, but it is here, and so is the NBA tip-off show. So before we get out of here, we'll go around the room and ask you guys one more time if there is one of these future bets, something you're looking for that you like a little more than the rest. Lay it out for us. And Andy, we'll come to you, my man. Which one of those bets that you gave us here might you like a little more than the rest?
I'm on the fence between the Nuggets over their team total and the Hawks to make the play-in tournament. I'm gonna go with the Hawks to make the play-in tournament. Just if Jokic somehow gets injured, maybe that could kill the over. So I'll take the Hawks. I just don't see a whole lot of. I don't see them moving up. I don't see them moving down. I think the East, kind of as a whole, is going to be pretty much cemented in unless you have some really crazy injury. So. I'm slightly bullish on the Hawks team. I did like the trade that they made. I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference until you get to the playoffs. So stick them in the play-in tournament at plus 130. That's my best future.
All right, sticking with Atlanta. And Tony Finn, I'm going to ask, come on, give us something here when we play back this tape. Before the championship, we're going to say Tony Finn was spot on about this season. Yeah. Give me a team you like, a player you like. Give me something here that you like looking into this season.
Okay, I'm going to play it safe because what you're asking for is go ahead and shoot myself in the head. I'm quite certain to your head. I'm going to take the Detroit Pistons over team win totals. I have 29. What do you guys have? Over. I think they win 30-plus games. The Detroit Pistons are not that it's a big surprise, right? It's only 30 games, but from what Detroit has been the last half a decade to this year, I think we're going to see a significant improvement. Give me the Pistons over team season win total.
Wow, it's over. Yeah, 29.5 is what I'm seeing. I think what they do, 24th, I think, somewhere in that ballpark last year. So it's going to be a fun team to watch for sure. And how about you, Tony Mejia? What are you thinking here for a best bet on the way out?
Yeah, again, I have a $9 package on all these futures, and that will include Tuesday's doubleheader, and then obviously we have the deal going for everybody, $49 for the first week. So tremendous value to be had at WagerTalk as we kick off the NBA season. One of the picks in my in my value pack will be the Minnesota Timberwolves plus 155 to win the Northwest Division. And then something that you need to be aware of, because I'm going to have a lot of fun with this and put out a couple of these. Division finishing position. Ooh. And they have them at DraftKings. Who's going to finish in what. I think there's good value on the Dallas Mavericks to finish third at plus 250. Already mentioned that the Pelicans are one of my surprise teams this year. And I think the Grizzlies, once they get Jaren Jackson Jr. back around the holidays, I think they'll take off with Ja Morant, obviously, leading that charge. And in the Eastern Conference, I like the Cleveland Cavaliers to finish second in the Central Division. Really nice value there as well. And the fact is, I don't think anybody's catching the Bucks. It looks like Chris Middleton will be out for the first few weeks as he deals with off-season wrist surgery. But once he gets back, that's the deepest team, I think, in that division by a lot. But with Donovan Mitchell now on board, and Jared Allen's going to protect the rim, Evan Mobley's going to be better in his second season, and Darius Garland was fantastic in the first of many All-Star appearances for him last year. I think the Cavs have nowhere to go but up. So finishing second ahead of the Bulls, who won't have Lonzo Ball. He's dealing with nerve issues in his knee that have dealt with a slow recovery there. You get minus 105, so basically an even money bet that the Cavs are your second place finisher in the Central. Sign me up for that. And yeah, $9 through Wednesday. I got permission from Johnny Detroit to keep that up that long for my futures package. So tremendous value. Hop in. It delivered a ton of big winners last year.
Yeah, no, absolutely, guys. I mean, the opportunity is now. Head over to WagerTalk.com. Visit Tony Finn. Visit Andy Lang. Visit Tony Mejia. There's no reason not to start off the NBA season on a positive note, guys. Time to cash some tickets as we take a look here one more time of the best bets here, looking future-wise. And Andy is looking at the Hawks to make the play-in tournament at plus 130. Mejia, keep an eye on those Cleveland Cavaliers to finish second in the Central. And Tony Finn is going over with the upstart and young Detroit Pistons to get it done here. And when we say get it done, it's relative. Basically, get it to 30 wins and get it done there. But hey, every season it's a push, guys. So it should be a great NBA season, a profitable one. We're looking so forward to getting it going. A couple of games tomorrow. We'll be back, and of course, each and every Monday through Friday here, right around 4:15 Eastern time. We'll be here breaking down that night's slate of games. Come back and join us. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Download the brand new WagerTalk TV app and never miss any content from your favorite handicappers and, of course, across the sports betting landscape. So until tomorrow, guys, we appreciate the time. Best of luck with your plays tonight. We'll talk to you again soon. Good luck.
Opening night of the NBA season is close. It's Tuesday, October 18th. Do you think the Golden State Warriors can repeat? To celebrate the start of the season, we are offering you a 7-day NBA package for only $49. Yes, that's only $7 a day, and it will be valid through Sunday, October 23rd at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo. There is no limit to the number of handicappers that you can get. Just head to your favorite capper's homepage.